So now that the official game of Madden has come out for Madden 23, we can now look at all the throwing style animations that are with each player. So as you guys can see on your screen here, there are a lot of throwing style animations that are simply just not used by many players at all. So for example, if we go ahead and take a look at Madden, if you guys do not know what a throwing style animation is, it's pretty much this. If I go ahead and go to any player, so let's say Tom Brady, I click on edit and I go over to his throwing style animation. Here's his throwing style animation, but here are all the different types of throwing style animations. So depending on what throwing style animations the player has, depends on how fast they can get the ball off. So some throwing styles, like for example, Slinger 1 is the fastest in the game, while traditional 5, traditional 6 now is not. Now, traditional 6 is the brand new one that was added this year. And so far, the only quarterback to have it is actually Baker Mayfield. So no one else has traditional 6. So if we go ahead and look at this, for example, so as you guys saw, Slinger 1 is Aaron Rodgers. Only Aaron Rodgers has Slinger 1. But a lot of quarterbacks have generic 2. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray, Ryan Tannehill, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy G, Trevor Lawrence, Jameis Winston, Tua, Teddy Bridgewater, Jalen Hurts, Zach Wilson, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, Desmond Ridder, Daniel Jones, Malik Willis, Tyrod Taylor, and Taylor Heineke. So this is generic 2, which to be honest is not that bad when it comes to throwing style animations. And if we go ahead and scroll up on this website, here is the chart on how fast each throwing style animation is. So, of course, as you guys can see, Slinger 1 is the fastest, and that always comes in at 0.873, while Generic 2 comes in at 0.971, which, of course, is going to be a 16.7% increase in time from Slinger 1. Now, of course, listen, okay, when we were ever looking at these, this is Generic 2, this is Slinger 1, okay? Yes, is Slinger 1 faster than Generic 2? Absolutely yes. It's by a split of a second or above a split of a second. So will there truly be a difference? Yes and no. Like, for example, as you guys see, traditional 5, which traditional 6 is actually very quick. But if we go ahead and look at the slowest throwing style animation in the game here, that's traditional 5, which is this one right here. So from this to this, that's the difference in throwing style. That's the fastest, that's the slowest. So anyway, though, going back down here, we of course do have generic 3, which is Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Davis Mills, Marcus Mariota, Jacoby Brissett, Andy Dalton, and Mitch Trubisky. Now, of course, that one's going to go ahead and be this one right here, generic 3. So let's go ahead and go into the next tier here. We have traditional 1, which is Tom Brady. We looked at that in the beginning of this video. We have Slinger 2, which is Patrick Mahomes. And keep in mind, every single year, players will change those throwing style animations in Madden. Obviously, it has nothing to do with the actual player in real life. It's just in Madden, EA does change throwing style animations. We have traditional 5, which is Mac Jones. And like I said before, we do have traditional 6, which is Baker Mayfield. And then we have Kenny Pickett, who has actually generic 1. So by himself. So I actually did go through a lot of other quarterbacks. And a lot of the other quarterbacks, no-name guys. Oh, no name, but Nick Foles, you know, those type of like pretty much third-string guys. They have the same old generic 1, generic 2, and generic 3. So it looks like EA Sports kind of kept it a little bit basic when it came to the rest of the players, where it's like, okay, these are generic 2, generic 3. And again, like I said, traditional 6 is the new one. And, you know, this is, of course, Baker Mayfield's throwing style, which only Baker Mayfield did go ahead and get that, which is actually kind of interesting. So Mac and Cheese did get traditional 5, which, of course, is the slowest throwing style animation in the game. So, for example, last year, Justin Herbert, Dan Marino, they both had traditional 5, which was the slowest in the game. A lot of people avoided any kind of Justin Herbert cards because of that. This year, he changed, obviously, and now he has, generic 2, which, according to the chart up here, is going to be very, very sorry. It's going to be the second fastest throwing style third fastest throwing style animation in the game, which again, you just see, I mean, last year people didn't want to buy Herbert cards, but he's very popular, right? So this year EA knows, listen, Herbert got a lot of new pieces on offense and defense, so we got to go ahead and make sure that we get him a better throwing style animation so people want to use his card. It's all planned out. But anyway, though, like I was saying, though, the fastest throwing style animation in the game is Slinger 1, which, of course, only Aaron Rodgers has. The second fastest in the game is going to go ahead and be, what is it? It's Slinger 1. All right, my bad. I'm trying to read this chart as I'm going through here. Okay, so Slinger 1, Generic 2, second fastest. Generic 3 is the fourth fastest. Oh, Traditional 2 is the second fastest. Then it's Generic 2. Then it's Generic 3. And then it's 2. Traditional 1. Then it's Traditional 3. Then it's Slinger 2. Then Traditional 3. And so on and so on. So I'm trying to read this off a chart off my monitor, and it's a very small print. So I do apologize for that. But again, like I said, you know, all of these throwing style animations, when you look at them, they are a split second of a difference. So should you worry about throwing style animations is a question. I would say yes and no. The reason why I say yes and no is for this reason, right? And this is why a lot of people avoided Justin Herbert in previous Maddens. If they have Traditional 5, which at the moment in time only Mac and Cheese has, yes, void Mac and Cheese on your team, okay? But Generic 2, Generic 3, and what looks like EA Sports is doing is they're just lump summing every single new player in Generic 2 or Generic 3 and then just kind of moving on there. Yes, it would be nice to have Slinger 1, but only Brett Favre is the only other quarterback who will be getting it this year other than Aaron Rodgers. So if that's the case, it doesn't really matter what quarterback you rock with because, I mean, 16.7% to 17.9% is really the difference between the speeds. And a 0.8% difference isn't really a big deal. So, again, like I said, you're probably going to find out if you are using any of these quarterbacks, you're probably going to find yourself in the list of Generic 2, Generic 3. Now, when Legends do come out, because we will have legendary quarterbacks coming out, quarterbacks like Dan Marino, Joe Montana, Randall Cunningham, Joe Namath, Johnny Unitas, all these quarterbacks, I'll be updating this video throughout the year talking about which throwing style animations they have, because certain ones will have, you know, certain throwing style animations. Dan Marino usually always gets Traditional 5. Dan Marino usually always gets the slowest throwing style animation in the game. So keep that in mind. If you are going to be rocking Dan Marino, he'll probably have the slowest throwing style animation in the game. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.